Okay, so here we are inside Nuke. So let's take a look at the clip that we want to color correct using the curve tool. So as you can see, there's a lot of color flickering in this shot. So the first thing we'll do is see how we can analyze this footage with the curve tool and apply the color variation to another clip. Then we'll see how we can stabilize the flickering so that we can have a stable plate color-wise. So the first thing I'll do is create a new curve tool. So curve tool, and I'll just connect it to the footage. And as you can see, the first thing that the curve tool does is make a new box. So that's the region that the curve tool is going to analyze. So in our case, what we want to analyze is the whole footage. But if, for instance, the only thing that was flickering in the shot was the sky, you would place the box just over the sky like that. So since we want to analyze the whole footage, I'll just put the window over the entire sequence like that. Now, the first thing we have to do is go in the property of the curve tool, and there's different type of thing that we can analyze. In our case, what we want to analyze is the average intensity of the color. So we'll leave it at average intensity, and we'll click on go. And now Nuke is asking the range that we want to analyze. So we'll click OK since we want to analyze the whole sequence. So now Nuke is analyzing all the various color variation that there's in the shot. So now the process is finished. So now if we go in the intensity data of the curve tool tab, we see that Nuke has analyzed all the various variation that we have in the shot. So now the idea is to use this data to either match or stabilize the variation of the color. So we'll make a new gray node that will connect our plate. And I'll go back in the intensity data tab and I'll copy the link of this field. So we'll go in copy and copy link, and then we'll go in the gray node, and inside the gain slider we'll paste the link to the curve tool. So paste absolute. So now we see that Nuke has created a link between the two nodes. So before pasting the link, just make sure you expand it to the 4 color value, else Nuke will put the same value in each of the knobs. So I'll just paste it one more time. So now you see that Nuke has given a different value to each of the color. So what we want to do is specify a reference frame that we want to color correct on. So if we take a look at the plate, let's find a frame where we want the color to be not affected. So let's say we want frame 60, where we find that the color is neutral, and we want to stabilize it based on this frame. So what we have to do is go in the gain here, click on equal to edit the expression. And now we'll you see that the expression refer to curve tool.intensity.red. So we'll copy this value, and then we need to divide it by itself. So now the value divided by itself just return 1. But we want to divide it at a reference frame. So our reference frame is frame 60. So I will put between 2 parentheses frame 60. And we'll do the same thing for each knobs. So I'll do that for the green value. So again, frame 60. And once again for the blue value. So copy the value, divide it by itself at frame 60. And click OK. So now, by doing this expression, what we're doing with the gray node is a color correct that will match the variation of the plate. So let's say I select a checkerboard and put it over the footage like that. And I'll just resize it a bit to make it smaller, like this. And we use this grain node on the checkerboard, like that. So now what we should have is, since we're at frame 60, there's no color correct applied. But if we move in time, you see that the color is matching what we have in the plate. So the grain node, based on what the curve tool has given us, is doing the right color correction to match the plate. Like that. So now let's say that we want to stabilize the color of the clip. All we have to do is use the same expression in the grain node, but this time put it directly on the plate. And all you have to click is click on reverse. So now Nuke will do a reverse color correction of what the curve tool has analyzed. So now if we take a look at the grain node and move in time, we see that the grain node, based on what the curve tool has given us, is stabilizing the color. So now let's say that maybe we like those blue color, which is at frame 40. What you have to do is just edit the expression, change 60 for 40 in each of the knobs. Like that. So now at frame 40, doing Nuke is not color correcting anything, but now you see that as we're moving the clip, Nuke is stabilizing the color on based on what we had on frame 40. So you see how the curve tool is very powerful to analyzing the footage and then give us the information we need to either stabilize the flickering of a shot or to apply the same color variation to another element in the comp. So that's how you can use the curve tool to do those kind of color correction.